In this video, I'm going to react to common stereotypes about Americans. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. This is the place where I react to music, media, sports, anime, anything related to popular culture. I'll watch it with an open mind and give you my 100% honest reaction to it. And if you could please hit that like button early, I'd really appreciate it. Now this should be a genuinely fun one because, you know, every country has stereotypes, you know, like here in Britain, I imagine a lot of foreigners, like there's a bit of a stereotype about British people having bad teeth. I don't think my teeth are pretty bad. Like, let me know, like, are my teeth bad? I don't think they're. I think they're okay. Another stereotype is we drink a lot of tea. We do drink a lot of tea. This is full of tea every single day. Another stereotype about British people is probably we're heavily sarcastic. That's quite true. So to be fair, a lot of the stereotypes are true. So it makes me wonder, what are the stereotypes about America? You know, because I can't really think of many. Yeah, I genuinely can't think of many American stereotypes. So this video is going to be quite enlightening, you know, just to kind of show what most outsiders, what most foreigners might think, you know, are stereotypical behaviors of Americans. So let's go. There's going to be me reacting to stereotypes of Americans. Let's do it.
We all love to stereotype, to believe in or to cast forth oversimplified ideas about certain groups, and in today's case, a national.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, the Russian bear is quite a popular stereotype, I guess.
Is it really true that all Italians are passionate lovers and equally passionate about food? Do the Brits have stiff upper lips and bad teeth? Are Canadians simple, outdoorsy types with an enthusiasm for chopping wood? Well, today we are going to look at just one country in this episode of the infographic show, Common Stereotypes About Americans. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you can be part of our notification squad. The big, bold, brash American. How true is that? There is a stereotype that Americans are a big or
Is that the bench? Is the bench buckling under the guy's weight? Oh man.
fat nation. The stereotype is partly true if you believe the World Health Organization. According to 2015 data, the USA was the most obese Western nation in the world, but it only came 16th on the list, which included all the world's nations. The island of Nauru in the region of Micronesia came first on the list. Reports suggest Americans actually exercise a lot, but with a diet of fast food, high sugar intake, and supersized portions, US citizens will have a hard time running off the extra pounds. We might take bold and brash to sometimes mean arrogant and dismissive.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, if you live in a country where, you know, the food options, like I've reacted to quite a few American food videos, and the options you guys have are just so numerous, you know, vast. Like, I would struggle to stay trim, you know, even if you're exercising every day. If you're eating fast food every other day, man, it's going to be hard, like the guy says, to be in a calorie deficit.
Of other cultures. Who hasn't seen those viral video clips wherein Americans are subjected to global knowledge questions and come out looking like they know little about the world? According to the writer and habitually quoted academic Noam Chomsky, the average American knows a lot more about sports than global politics. The gas station attendant who wants to use his mind isn't going to waste his time on international affairs because that's useless. He can't do anything about it, said Chomsky, stating that people use their expertise where they think it counts. He also said to be critical and disobedient went against the grain, and so most Americans just join in the debate at the trivial level and know very little about deconstructing global politics. Someone writing on Quora said the education system, the TV media, are US-centric. She also pointed out that America is large enough to travel around extensively, and foreign travel can be prohibitively expensive.
Yeah, that's a fair point, to be honest, because, you know, I've been reacting to, you know, a lot of American geography videos and just the hugeness of America. Like, you could pretty much, if you went to a new national park every year or whatever, it would take you quite a while to get through all of them, and the variety of climates that you guys have over as well. It's like, why would you fly to, you know, Switzerland to ski if you can probably go to Alaska and ski? You know, why pay that money to go abroad if you can do it in your own country? So I can see why a lot of Americans may not travel internationally that much.
The State Department said in 2016 that 64% of Americans don't even own a passport. But then you could ask, with such a large and beautiful country, do they need one? Another stereotype related to lack of knowledge about other countries might be that Americans watch way too much television and that sometimes those shows are a tad mind-numbing. Well, Americans do top the list of being the most avid TV watchers in the world. According to a Recode article in 2016, the average American watches 4.3 hours of TV a day. The older generation more so than the younger generation, who prefer spending time using other devices. It depends on what you watch on TV, but one could ask if you could equate the global ignorance stereotype with being the country that is glued to what has sometimes been called the idiot box more than anyone else. We are starting to sound quite negative now. So what about all those positive stereotypes? The well-known English writer Stephen Fry once said that after traveling around the USA for a while making a TV program, one thing he most admired was the friendliness and positive outlook of Americans. He extolled what he called American optimism, and that American people believed they could improve and do what they wanted to if they tried.
That's part of, is that part of the American dream, right? You know, you can make it if you try hard enough. I like that personally, you know, just having a positive outlook, you know, trying to chase your dreams, you know, improve your life. It's a great purpose to have, I think.
This all may boil down to what we might call the American dream and the pursuit of happiness. Are all Americans like this? A report by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime put Americans 8th on the list of most drug-addicted countries, noting that the prescription painkiller epidemic is presently very worrying. North America had the highest amount of drug-related deaths of all continents in 2015, with the report stating, in the United States, nearly 500,000 people are estimated to have died from drug overdoses since 2000.
Wow.
Just recently, the New York Times reported that drug overdoses in the US were rising faster than ever. Perhaps American optimism is partially true, but American OxyContin addiction undermines the positive outlook.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about an opioid crisis. You know, apparently it's really like out of control, like not just in America, but I think across a lot of nations. I don't know what the solution is, but I'm hoping something is done soon.
Stereotype. What about guns? Americans love their guns, right? According to the Telegraph in 2016, Americans do indeed have more guns per person than any other country in the world. The data tells us there are 112.6 per 100 citizens, more than a gun for every person. It's true that many Americans support the right to bear arms, but it's also true that many other Americans support tighter gun control or the banning of guns altogether. A recent Pew Research poll found that 52% of Americans support stricter gun control, while only 18% wanted less strict control. A Gallup poll in 2016 said that 76% of Americans said handguns should not be banned for all people, not including authorities, but 23% said they should. Another stereotype is that Americans are loud and sometimes rude. An op-ed in the Huffington Post seems to agree with this assertion. Awareness of how personal actions impact others seems to be a weak point for Americans in general, said the writer. This translates to the perceived ignorant persona Americans abroad present, she added. There are many reasons.
So I have a theory. I think the reason why some Americans might speak louder than the typical British person might be because America is so big, properties are larger, right? So you have to speak at a higher volume to so that the other person hears you. You know, British houses compared to American houses are tiny. You know, not just the houses, the cars, you know, office buildings, you know, restaurants, bars, literally everything is smaller here. So obviously if people are closer to you, you don't have to speak at such a high volume. Whereas in America, obviously, you know, things are bigger. So I think that's just my theory anyway. There's probably nothing to it, but I thought I'd share that with you guys.
Put forward as to why this is, especially when abroad, but the main one is that instilled in Americans is not only a positive outlook, but also self-importance. People think they should be heard, and this also goes back to embracing freedom of speech and saying what the hell you want to say, goddammit. This has sometimes been taken as rude in a situation where an American will complain about the service or food in a restaurant, but perhaps these people only think they are enjoying their right to do that. In Japan, there's a saying, hit the nail that sticks out, while in America it might be more applicable to say, be sure to make good use of your protuberance. This also might align with the stereotype of American patriotism. When British students asked American students questions about stereotypes, one Brit kid asked why Americans were so patriotic. Some American students didn't deny it and gave good answers. One student said, "We are a major melting pot country. Rather than history or a common language that unites us, we are united by freedom, which is what it means to be American. It is, however, possibly a weak stereotype, as another student said he wasn't patriotic at all, and another called patriotism mere mob mentality.
Really?
A Gallup poll said that in 2016, only 53% of Americans said they felt extremely proud to be American. This compares to 70% who said yes to that question in 2003. It said the younger generation was the cause of this huge change, which mirrors the mob mentality students' belief. Sometimes you'll notice in Europe there's a certain snootiness that Americans are not cultured. This to some extent could be true, as the United States is relatively new, and so we can't really credit the country for a renaissance of culture. But hold on, what about the great transcendentalist movement of the 19th century with its poets and philosophers that is making a comeback today against hyper-consumerist values? This later led to the free-spirited Beat generation and the books of Jack Kerouac. In music, America gave us the blues, originating from African Americans in the Mississippi Delta. It gave us New Orleans jazz. It gave us, to a large extent, the hippie 60s and the American Kool-Aid acid test. In New York in the 70s, we got disco, and following that came the hip-hop movement. Throughout those years, writers vied to write the great American novels. Some of them, such as Joseph Heller, Philip Roth, and Toni Morrison, wrote literary masterpieces that will go down as books that changed the world. Can we really say that Americans are uncultured? So, what do you think of these American stereotypes? Can you name a few that we left out?
It was a really fascinating and thought-provoking video. I mean, the thing with stereotypes is, some of them are, they're kind of like, they come from elements of truth. Some are completely, exaggerated. And it's just down to the person, I guess. It's down to, because people are so different. If you got 100 Americans, chances are not all of them are going to be the same type of personality. There's going to be such a big variance between them in, their values, things they like, things they don't like, their diet perhaps, how they live their lives. So yeah, really, really interesting video. Gave me a lot of things to think about. Yeah, really enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and keep throwing the recommendations my way. I know I say it all the time, but they genuinely help me out, because if I know you enjoyed watching something, I'll definitely enjoy reacting to it. So like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, keep throwing the recommendations, and I'll catch you in the next one.